Hello, everybody. Catherine Andrioli with Davidson Community Players here. Thanks so much for joining us. I am here today with Cat Rutledge. Cat has been with DCP for many years as both an actor and also a board member. Currently, she serves as the board chair. And Cat, we're so happy to have you. Just talk a little bit about your background with DCP and how you got involved.
Oh, certainly. Thank you, Catherine. Nice to talk to you. Nice to see you. I started actually acting with DCP, and it's now been, I guess my first show was Blythe Spirit, 2000, it was 2000, and Matt Merrill was in it, and Jim Esposito, and a few other familiar faces. And I did theater off and on with DCP. I had young children at the time, so whenever I could fit it into my schedule. And really just loved it. I always found it was a great way to meet people, feed your, I always say it feeds my soul. It's something that I love to do. So I've really enjoyed doing that over the years. And it's really just the last few years that I've been involved with the board. This is my third year on the board. This is my second year as board chair. And that's really nice because it just gives me another opportunity to stay plugged in, lovely people involved. It's really very gratifying.
And just talk about your role as, on the board of directors and kind of what, the board does for many people who may not know too much about, the people behind the shows. Just talk about that and what you guys do.
Well, that's a great question because I was one of those people. I had no clue what the board did. And I'd heard about different people being on the board over the years, and I just really didn't think too much about it. And I was approached a couple years ago, and I sounded interesting, and I found out about it. And it really is fascinating to see what goes into selecting plays, just running a theater. I mean, it really is fascinating. And what's really interesting too is the diversity of people who are on the board, because there are some actors, but there are business people, accountants, really just runs the gamut. Folks who appreciate theater would like to see it continue at the caliber it is, which is such a great high caliber. So that's really great. But there's a lot of discussion that happens. We try to support Matt and Sylvia and the staff and really oversee any big decisions that need to be made.
And, this theater has been around for so long. How important is it to preserve the, history of DCP, 55 years going strong?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, that's one of the nice things is that we have that history. We have such strong, subscriptions, patrons. People really love coming to see DCP productions. I mean, we've got some small things that we do over the Black Box Theater, Armour Street. It's really interesting things there. We've had people say that, this is as good as anything they see downtown. And it's right here in their backyard. And then, of course, we get to go over the Duke during the summer and have these wonderfully huge productions. I've been seeing musicals there, goodness. I think the first musical I saw was Sound of Music, which goes back many, many years, with my daughters. And every year it was our routine. We went to the summer musical at the Duke, and we just loved it over the years. This year, of course, we are sad that we are not able to perform the musical or the summer comedies. That's been a really hard thing. It's been a hard decision. That's one of the interesting aspects that we did not anticipate with, nor did we anticipate the pandemic, of course, that we had to make those decisions of what's going to happen this summer. Is it feasible to open? Well, the Duke, of course, said it wasn't, but also trying to plan ahead of will people be able to gather together? Because theater is so important, but we want to do it in a safe way. So unfortunately, the theater will be dark. Davidson Community Players will go dark until hopefully September. We're hoping everyone comes back. The staff can come back and we can start getting ready to produce a number of shows. One thing, we had the 25th annual 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee was all but set to perform. I mean, they were really in their final stages of rehearsing and getting ready to hit the stage. And those actors, from an actor standpoint, how disappointing to do all this work and not be able to perform. But what we're really hoping is, because they have this show so far along, that once we are able to get back into Armour Street and be able to fill it at least halfway, that we can perform that, we can produce that, and get people back into theater. So we're really excited about that. And it's nice to have that available so that we know we've got something lined up.
Absolutely. And just tell us what you're looking forward to most come the fall and when everyone gets back on stage. I'm sure you're ready to get back on stage at some point too.
I am. My husband and I run our own business, so I am very busy and I travel quite a bit, though not as much lately. I've been working out of the home office a lot, or rather constantly. So it's rare that I get to audition and be in shows. It really makes it difficult. And that's one of the things I like about being on the board, is that at least it keeps me plugged in. I get to know what is going on, hopefully affect that to a certain degree, because there are play reading committees. We're voting on what plays are coming up. We're talking about what makes sense in a season. So that's exciting. And I'm really excited about what's going to be happening next year. We are looking at, and I hope that this isn't stealing anyone's thunder, or it has not, I don't know if it's 100%, but we're really hoping to have Sister Act come back and Present Laughter come back, because they're two wonderful shows. And it'd be great to be able to not just say, oh, those are gone, but to be able to actually produce them at the Duke again. And really just to continue performing. I love performing, but to continue being able to go see these great shows. One thing I will, just as a quick aside, I do, as the board chair, I try to get to as many shows as possible. And I haven't really gotten to the youth productions in the past because all of my children are grown. But what was really cool is for me to see several of them this year, and they were fantastic. I mean, I know I shouldn't be surprised, but they were really good. I thoroughly enjoyed them. That has probably been the biggest surprise for me in the last year of seeing, or the last 2 years, of seeing what the youth is doing, because the youth are doing phenomenal performances, and they're such talented young folks. So that's one of the things that I love.
Well, I know they are definitely, all the kids are ready to get back on stage as well as the adults. So we are so happy that we got to talk to you, and for updating our patrons. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kat.
Well, you're very welcome, Catherine. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully we will see you in person sometime.
Definitely soon. And for everybody watching, I'm Catherine Andrioli, and that is DCP Board Chair Cat Rutledge. Be sure to look on our social media for updates through the summer. We'll still be on there keeping everybody posted. And we thank you for joining us on this journey. Thanks so much.